Ladies and gentlemen, good evening. What a wonderful evening. I'm humbled, privileged, and honored to be here. Daniel, thank you so much. My name is Nafni Dana from Fiji Times, MC for tonight. I welcome you all for Fiji's Diwali celebrations. Before I formally begin the proceedings, I would like to acknowledge the traditional custodians of the land on which we meet, the Daru people, and pay my respects to elders, past, present, and the future. Ladies and gentlemen, we're going to have an exciting evening with some Bollywood dance. But before we proceed, what I want to let you know is Fiji's unique cultural identity as well as the special relationship that Fiji and Australia shares. We start the ceremony with lighting the diyas here. May I invite Padiji, Councillor Suman Saha, MP Michelle Rowland, Councillor Samir Pandey, and Barbara Ward. Pandit just told me today is the day of Diwali. What an auspicious day to be celebrating it tonight. Pandit, thank you so much for coming.
चंद्रमा मनशो जातः चक्षुः सूर्यो अजायतः श्रोत्रादवायुश्च प्राणश्च मुखा जगदीरजायतः या श्रेष्वयं शकतिनां भवनेषु लक्ष्मी पापात्मनां प्रददियां हृदयेषु बुद्धि श्रद्धा शतां कुलजनां प्रभवश्य लज्जा त्वां तां नता स्म परिपालय देव विश्वम् किं वर्णयाम तव रूपमचिन्त्यमेतत् किञ्चातिवीर्यमशुरक्षयकारि भूरि किञ्चाहवेषु चरितानि तवातयानि सर्वेषु देवसुरदेवगणादिकेषु हेतुः समस्तजगतां त्रिगुणापि दोषैः न ज्ञायसे हरिहरादिविरप्यपारा सर्वाश्रयाखिलविदं जगदंशभूत मव्याकृता हि परमा प्रकृतिः स्वमाद्या यस्या समस्तसमुता समुदीरणेन तृप्तिं प्रयाति सकलेषु मुखेषु देवी स्वाहा शिवै पितृगणश्च तृप्तिहेतु रुच्चारसे तमत एव जनैः स्वधा च असतो मा सद्गमय तमसो मा ज्योतिर्गमय मृत्युर्मा अमृतं गमय ओम शांति शांति शांति.
Thank you so much, everybody, to making this segment. It's my absolute pleasure to introduce Honorable Michelle Rowland. She's the MP from the Glenwood area. Michelle was elected as House of Representatives in 2010 as a member of Greenway for the first time, and then re-elected in 2013 before being promoted to the position of Shadow Minister for Citizenship, Multiculturalism, and Shadow Assistant Minister. May I welcome Michelle Rowland. Ladies and gentlemen, put your hands together for Michelle Rowland.
Thank you so much, Navneet. Nisambula Bulavanaka. Thank you so much. Thank you so much for having me here this evening. Namaste, Wanakam, Assalamu alaikum. And I say these things as we all know, Australia is one of the, if not the greatest multicultural country on earth. But also I would like to acknowledge the fact that Fiji is one of the great multicultural nations, not only of our region, but of the world. So thank you so much, Navneet, for that introduction. I think it is opportune for me at this stage to pay tribute to Navneet and to his partner AJ for putting on this event. Can we give them a round of applause? They and their team are fresh off the back of one of the most fabulous evenings I think many of us have attended in the GEMCO Awards, which were done recently. And thank you so much for doing that. It was a wonderful event. There are many dignitaries here. I'd like to especially welcome Masese. It's lovely to see you here. Thank you so much. All of the staff of the consulate, all of the community leaders and leaders in their own right from not only various nationalities but also various faiths. And there are a few things that unite us. One of them is our love of Fiji. Myself being a descendant of a Fijian mother, and we all have a very special connection to, for some of us, our homeland. Some of us, that connection runs very deep and always will. We also, of course, have a very special connection through our celebration of Diwali, which has become one of the great universal festivals, not only of Australia, but of the world. But lastly, we are of many different faiths, but all the same values. We respect our fellow men and women. We all hope for a better life for ourselves and our communities, and we all work towards that in our various ways. There are many dignitaries who've been recognised tonight, but I would like to recognise everyone who is here. It is a small but a very relevant group of people from Sydney and beyond who love Fiji very much and want to demonstrate that here this evening. In that spirit of multiculturalism, we are of course celebrating Diwali, which is of course the victory of light over darkness. But I also think, Navneet, it would be remiss of me not to mention that today is also the 550th anniversary of the birth of Guru Nanak. And that's one of the great things of Australian Fiji. We celebrate so many different faiths, and we do that respectfully. And again, I think it's delightful that you've chosen today to choose this. I did want to say just a very few words coming off the back of Fiji Day being so recent. I think it's important to remind ourselves of the importance of Fiji for Australia and our region. I think it is, I was reading leading up to Guru Nanak's birthday about some of his tremendous achievements. But I think there is a link between what Guru Nanak said at the time and also what the Prime Minister of Fiji, Mr. Bainimarama, is saying today. And that's in the context of the pursuit of one Fiji, which I think is so important. He said 10 years ago, he said, "My vision for Fiji is one that's free of racism." Entirely appropriate and also very consistent with the teachings of Guru Nanak. I think it is very relevant that Fiji as a nation regularly condemns ethnic stereotypes and that the Prime Minister does this himself and encourages Fijians to recognise that these stereotypes are based in historic prejudices and archaic power dynamics, certainly not reflective of the dynamic Fiji that we have today. Australia and Fiji's relationship is of key strategic importance for many reasons. The relationship is one of mutual respect and support. And I would like to acknowledge the leadership that has been shown by Fiji at the recent Pacific Islands Forum and the leadership that is being shown particularly in respect of taking action on climate change, which as many nations in Southeast Asia and certainly in the Pacific know, is going to have devastating impacts and is having impacts already. We are partners in regional stability and security, but I think Australia has a long way to go to be a good Pacific neighbour. I think that it is appropriate that we recognise the importance of this relationship as one of equals. And I don't say this through any political lens, but I think for too long the relationship has been viewed as Australia being the leader in the Pacific rather than one of equals. And I certainly think we need to move towards equality. I think it is important also to note that despite its relatively small size, Fiji has played an outstanding and important role in US peacekeeping operations for about 40 years. Since the 1970s, Fijians have served as peacekeepers in almost every major conflict zone. On the other side of the world, Cambodia, Bosnia, Rwanda, Somalia, Timor-Leste and South Sudan. And with Remembrance Day only being yesterday, I pay tribute to the spirit of service that Fiji continues to show for peacekeeping throughout the world, unless we forget. Per capita, Fiji has contributed more personnel to UN peacekeeping missions than any other state. That's measured on 1970 growth. Fijians are world leaders when it comes to peacekeeping, as I said, and again to quote Prime Minister Bainimarama, while we may be a small country, we've shown ourselves more than willing to do our part to protect the innocent, shield the vulnerable and uphold the basic human rights of all people. And lastly, I think it's an important point to make today, and I say this again with no political agenda, especially since today has been a very anxious day for people living in Greater Sydney with the bushfires. It will be remiss of me not to acknowledge the threat of climate change, and it's a threat that many Fijians are vulnerable with. We had, even in 2012, we had at least one village in Fiji to begin relocating to higher ground. Almost 2/5 of people across the Pacific could be displaced by the year 2050, which is only 3 decades away. That might sound a very long time away. 30 years is a relatively short period of time. But Fiji is leading the way in climate action in the Pacific by investing heavily in renewable energy and reducing their net emissions. And I believe Australia has a responsibility to respond equally as meaningfully and decisively, and we cannot be complacent about that. So, Navneet, thank you so much for the honour of saying a few words here this evening. Again, I pay tribute to GEMCO, to your staff for being such generous hosts. It is really a delight to be able to join with so many friends here this evening. Thank you, Ms. Sese, to you and your team for everything that you do. And I would like to wish everyone a very happy Diwali and a very happy year ahead. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Michelle, for the kind words. And Daniel, once again, thank you so much for giving me an opportunity to stand in front of such a wonderful audience. Thank you so much for coming. Before I invite the next speaker, we don't have many speakers tonight. To begin with, I would like to invite Daniel Stowe, the man behind it, the officer in charge of the Fiji Consulate General and Trade Commission. To say in a few words, Daniel came on board as a manager for trade and investments in January 2018 and has been the acting officer in charge since June 2019. Prior to joining the Trade Commission, Daniel worked in the digital technology sector with companies such as Google. Done a good job. Daniel also has international trade and development experience, living and working in the countries in Central America as well as with India and Australia. Ladies and gentlemen, may I request, put your hands together for Daniel Stowe.
Well, thank you, Navneet, for that very kind introduction, and thank you so much to the Honourable Michelle Rowland, Federal Member for Greenway, and Shadow Minister for Communications for your lovely and touching words as well. To our councillors who are here, Councillor Suman Saha, Cumberland City Council, Councillor Sumir Pandey from the Parramatta City Council, Mr Pramod Rai, President of the Indian Diaspora Council of Australia, Mrs Barbara Ward, President of the Rotary Club of Sydney, respective Consuls General and representatives of the New South Wales Consular Corps, distinguished guests, colleagues and friends of Fiji, Bona Manaka, Namaste, Assalamu Alaikum, and a very good evening to you all. As Navneet mentioned, my name is Daniel Stowe. I'm the Acting Officer in charge of the Fiji Consulate General and Trade Commission. It's my absolute pleasure to be here with you all in what is now our successive year, second successive year of hosting Diwali celebrations here in Sydney. I'd also like to acknowledge the traditional custodians on the land on which we meet, the Darug people, and pay my respects to elders past, present and emerging. Diwali, of course, represents the triumph of lightness over dark, knowledge over ignorance, and good over evil. It is an opportunity to illuminate one's inner self, give and to forgive those who may have transgressed against us, take stock of the prosperity and progress that we have made over the past year, and most importantly, unite and unify the communities that we are blessed to be a part of. It's in that spirit, like Michelle mentioned, that I'd like to stand and acknowledge all of those who are affected by bushfires currently burning across New South Wales and Queensland, and express my heartfelt gratitude to our brave firefighters and all emergency services personnel whose tireless efforts seek to keep us safe. It's seemingly that often in the darkest of times that we see the very best in our common humanity, something that Abraham Lincoln would call the better angels of our nature. But of course, Diwali is a time to celebrate life, embrace our cultural diversity, and rejoice in all things that make both Australia and Fiji such wonderful places to live. Festivals such as Diwali remind us of the importance of acknowledging the contributions that have been made towards the well-being of our respective nations by diverse groups of people who share in our similar values of multiculturalism, tolerance, and respect for one another. Like Australia, Fiji is a successful, multi-ethnic and diverse society where immigrant populations have worked hard and contributed positively to the broader community. The Gurmitias who came to Fiji in the 19th and 20th centuries brought with them their cultural values and also embraced their new way of life in Fiji. Their arrival has added cultural diversity, and along with their new ideas and learnings from their homeland, their contributions have left an indelible mark in shaping and moulding Fiji into the beautiful, cultural, and rich, prosperous nation it is today. With your indulgence, I'd like to take this opportunity to share a bit more with you about Fiji. Fiji is a country made up of over 300 islands and a total population of over 900,000 people. Total trade in goods and services with Australia currently stands at over $2 billion, making Australia a top 2 trading partner. Tourism, agriculture, and manufacturing are now significant contributors to Fiji's GDP. And Fiji will be receiving nearly 1 million tourists to its shores this year, contributing over $2 billion in earnings, and close to 400,000 of these visitors coming from Australia with earnings of over $1 billion. The Fiji economy is the strongest it has ever been now, with 10 straight years of economic growth, the lowest unemployment rate in decades, and unprecedented prosperity that has resulted from the doubling of its GDP over the last 12 years. It has never been a better time for investors to consider Fiji as a viable destination to do business with. Please come and see myself or the team from the Trade Commission who are here if you'd like to discuss these opportunities further. As Michelle mentioned, during the recent Fiji Independence Day celebrations here in Sydney, Fiji's Prime Minister, the Honourable Warringah Bainimarama, also urged the Fijian diaspora to bring back their innovative ideas, invest in Fiji, and seize upon the boundless market opportunities that are available. We have over 3,000 Australian companies doing business in Fiji, and nearly 100,000 Fijians living in Australia. And there's these extensive business and people-to-people links that Australia and Fiji share that form the foundation of a strong, enduring bilateral relationship between the two countries, now enshrined in the Vuvale Partnership, signed by both governments in September this year during Prime Minister Bainimarama's official state visit, the first by any Fijian Prime Minister. Vuvale, of course, means family in the native Fijian language, and the term was chosen to reflect the depth, breadth, and warmth of the relationship. The partnership is broad-ranging, comprehensive, and builds on the already strong foundations in the Fiji-Australia relationship. With these few words, I'd simply like to say thank you all for being here with us this evening. And I thank the hard-working staff from the consulate, and a very special Vanakamakalamu to Mr. Navneet Anand and everyone from the Fiji Times in Sydney for helping organise what is a wonderful evening. Vanakamakalamu, and thank you all so very much.
Thank you so much, Daniel, for the kind words. Ladies and gentlemen, we just heard Daniel's talk about the opportunities the Fiji had to offer. Now, it's my pleasure to show the latest trade and investment promotional video. Rosen, can you please? Thank you so much, ladies and gentlemen, for your patience. As we say, Fiji times, be with the times. So Fiji is the country, it's a land of opportunities. There was a Fijian Make a Dance performance. We were supposed to have it, but unfortunately, due to some unavoidable reasons, they couldn't make it, but there's always next time. Daniel, we make sure we have it in the next visit. Instead of make it, let me just have another Bollywood dance performance from the Swastik Institute of Dance. We have the instructor, Sumiti ji as well. Sumiti ji, thank you so much. I hope the team is ready. Ladies and gentlemen, put your hands together for such lovely and gorgeous ladies. The floor is yours. What a wonderful performance. Perfect. Swastik Dance Academy and Sumitiji, thank you so much. Ladies and gentlemen, please put your hands together once again for the wonderful performance. On behalf of Fiji Consulate, once again, thank you so much everybody for being here tonight. The dinner is ready to be served, and we can definitely have the networking along with having the dinner. Ladies and gentlemen, the dinner is ready to be served. Please. You start. Daniel. Ladies and gentlemen, I'm sure you are enjoying your dinner. The desserts are ready. Please go to the back of the counter and have the desserts before you leave. And thank you so much on behalf of Fiji Consulate once again for coming tonight. Vinaka.